Hi guys, hello everybody. So today I'm in the village of Kandolim in Goa, the smallest state in India and the last one to be liberated from the European colonial rule in 1961 after being under the Portuguese for over 450 years, who transformed Goa into a massive trading center, and at its peak Goa was one of the most vibrant and alive and active centers in all of Asia, and it was also known as the Rome of the East. So Portuguese was the official language of the colony, and quite a few interesting, intellectual, and influential characters came from here. And today I want to talk to you about one of them, who was nonetheless but the co-founder, godfather of hypnosis, but at the same time was definitely the founder of scientific hypnosis. And so I'm here today to tell you the incredible story of José Custodio de Faria, or simply Abbé Faria, or Abba de Faria. So many people travel here, and yet only so few know about this incredible character. And not so many people even notice this monument dedicated to him. There is one here in Kandolim, and there is another one, pretty much the same, in Panjim, the capital of Goa. And this is the monument to Abbé Faria here in Panjim, the capital of Goa. So Abbé Faria was born here in the village of Kandolim, but I was not able to find the whereabouts of the house where he was born on the internet. So it was quite an adventure for me to locate the actual house. I was going around the village for days asking everybody, and finally I found it, the house where Abbé Faria was born. As far as I understood, at a certain point many years ago, it became for a short while a museum dedicated, of course, to Abbé Faria, and then it became an orphanotrophy, and now it's a government building, and I'm not sure exactly of what they do in it, but just behind me, this is the house where Abbé Faria was born, and on one side there is actually still a sign that mentions Abbé Faria and the fact that he was born in this house. And this one behind me is the church here in Kandolim where Abbé Faria got baptized. So something important to understand first are the origins of hypnosis, which are normally attributed to a man called Franz Mesmer. And we are about in the 18th century. And his method, named after him, mesmerism, which probably was similar to something like nowadays we would see in form of some energy therapies, such as Reiki, such as pranic healing, or other energy therapies that work either hands-on or off, because that's the way Frank Mesmer operated. And his method was based around his core idea, his core concept of something he called animal magnetism, which is nothing but the idea of a magnetic fluid that he called animal magnetism. So a magnetic fluid that is literally quite comparable to, we could say, energy, universal energy, or prana, or chi, right? Which is very interesting. And the way he worked with this energy, the idea behind it was that the operator can work and interact with this magnetic fluid, manipulate it, and have, in the case of mesmer, probably not so much a feeling, a sensation of it, rather than an intuition of it. To manipulate this energy and influence another person to help him deal with both physical or mental issues, rather than a powerful, transformative, intense spiritual experience or breakthrough. And the way Mesmer worked with this magnetic fluid and with this animal magnetism was literally through the movement of his hands. So, as I said before, either hands off, so passing his hands around a person, or by triggering special points. So I'm not here today to talk about the life of Abbé Faria and what he did, which is of course extremely interesting, but that's a whole different story, a whole different adventure, which is a probably better topic for another video. So instead, what I briefly want to talk about today are some of Abbé Faria's ideas that I think it's important for us to know and to try to understand a little, to try to better our own understanding of the subjects, let's say, that I normally talk about in this channel, such as, let's say, spirituality and energy work and everything related to that. Because you see, Abbé Faria's ideas, they were quite different and quite opposite to the ideas of Franz Mesmer and Mesmerism. Because for Abbé Faria, there was no such a thing as an animal magnetism. For him, there was no such a thing as a magnetic fluid. So this external force, this an external entity that the operator could connect to, could interact with, manipulate, in order to influence another person, another person's body, another person's mind, another person's state, and generate a hypnotic state or a trance-like state or anything like that. For Abbé Faria, and this is why he is considered to be the father of modern hypnosis, the father of scientific hypnosis, because his ideas were extremely revolutionary and very scientific again. For him, the hypnotic state is something that exists in the mind of the person alone and nowhere else, nowhere to be found in an operator or in an external force. So all the elements that allow hypnosis to happen and take place are contained within the mind of the person. And the operator is nothing but a trigger to the experience. So what Abbé Faria would do in his public demonstrations, let's say, in France, in Paris, he would pick a person, which is already quite a skill because you have to pick the right person. Then he would make the person sit down and fully relax, and then concentrate deeply on something, to focus on an object, either internal or external. And then, very important, he would tell them what will happen with them, the experience, basically what to expect. And only after that, he would give them a simple command, dorme, in French, which in English means nothing but sleep. Which is very interesting because it's a stereotype in the world of hypnosis. I mean, if you think about hypnosis, even if you have never practiced it, probably the first thing that comes to your mind is the hypnotist telling somebody, sleep, right? And this is something that comes from Abbé Faria. Just think about the monument dedicated to Abbé Faria I showed you earlier, where he's like this, and this woman is like falling into this state of trance, and he's like that. And that is the moment when he's telling this woman, sleep. And the person would, again, fall into this state of trance, into this hypnotic state, and go through this experience. And then he would bring them back to reality, to their ordinary, normal state, by simply giving them the opposite command, wake up. And the person would just come back to its normal state. But again, the expectation combined with acceptance from the person is what allows the experience to take place and to happen. So something very important to understand is that expectation creates the conditions for hypnosis. I repeat it again. Expectation creates the conditions for hypnosis. Now take the word hypnosis and change it to something else, and you will understand the point I'm trying to make here. All right, well, I see you in the next video.